When you are building your career and your reputation, you cannot allow a single doubt or weakness to show, at least in the confidence in your work. And that's very important to me. And I've always felt that way. And so I picked out what I thought were my very best drawings, and I put those up regardless of when they happened to have been done, whether they were a progression or if they were not. And the answer was not. They were primarily my recent drawings. So later on that week, a friend came up to me, just kind of caught me on the, somewhere else on campus, and said, "Hey, I saw your drawing display up on the third floor up there." And I said, "Oh yeah?" Kind of, sort of hoping that I was about to get a compliment. And I didn't. What he said was, "You know what? I think somebody's messing with you." Well, that's exactly not what I wanted to hear. He said, "I think somebody's messing with you because there's some drawings up there. I mean, they have your signature on them, but they are a joke. I mean, they are not your drawing, so I think you better go check it out." Well, I ran right up there to see what was going on because I was trying to make this splash with the quality of these drawings. And sure enough, there were a couple of other drawings tacked up on there, and they were bad drawings. They were not good. The problem was, they really did have my signature on them, and it was not a forged signature. It was my signature. I had made that signature myself. What had happened was that teacher did not appreciate my defiance. And it so happened he had kept artwork that we had turned in over the course of this time. He went back in the files and he picked out the very first couple of drawings that I ever did in his classes. The beginner, inexperienced, making all of the mistakes drawings, and he tacked them up with my group. Oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. So I tell you that to tell you this. Those drawings, the early drawings, were bad, not because I didn't have good intentions, not that I didn't have good natural observational skills. They were bad for exactly the reasons we've discussed in the class: getting lost in the details, losing the forest for the trees, doing things symbolically, kind of mixing and matching how I symbolically perceived an image versus how it really looked, and putting those things together unintentionally without intentional artistry. All of the mistakes we've been talking about in this class. And the solution that we're fighting for here is the simple statement, making sure that those big relationships are there right up front, so we have hard working guts, a foundation and a sturdy architecture that we can build on, a framework that's so solid we can hang all of the detail and all of the technique off of it that we want, and it will hang there beautifully because of the simplicity and the solidity of the framework. That's where these exercises are meant to be taken for us. So you see me hitting those highlights then with that kneaded eraser and fine-tuning a little bit there with my pencil. I do want you to notice that, as described in the lecture, those highlights fall right dead on the corner of the forms. You see it in the model. I'm not making it up. It's how light really works. There's a front plane, then there's a highlight, and then there's a side plane, for instance on the forehead. And you look at the nose, front plane, highlight, side plane, and then there's a highlight again there where the cheek meets the side of the nose there, the right hand side of the nose, because that's also a corner. It's concave rather than convex, but it's still a corner, so it catches the light. And then we have a front plane on the cheek, and then a highlight and a side plane on the cheek, and that's how form is simply conveyed. And so that's what I'm looking for. Big turning forms as highlight, as we have the shadow curve into halftone and then to highlight and then turning into halftone again, those big turning forms, and then emphasizing the highlight at the crest of those forms. That's what I'm emphasizing here to keep that elegant, simple statement there.